What's happening, YouTube? Jonathan Pariente, the Education 10 here, coming at you guys with another video. I want to ask you guys to please continue to check and subscribe to my channel for more YouTube videos. So another one of my catch-up videos coming up. I'm going to have the AFC and NFC title game recap in a later video along with my predictions for Super Bowl 53. But we're going to talk about the Jets on this video today, and their recent hire of a new defensive coordinator. And I think the Jets hit a big home run with this decision. The Jets went out and hired Gregg Williams, who was coming off a pretty good year with the Browns, serving under Freddie Kitchens and really, in a way, giving that Browns defense an identity. And I expect him to do the same when he joins the Jets. He brings some baggage with him, does Gregg Williams, and I'm going to explain that right now, going back to the storied history of Gregg Williams. So Gregg Williams enters the Jets' defensive side of the football now. Longtime veteran in the NFL. Starting first with the Oilers under defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan as a special teams coach. Gregg Williams would then go on to become the linebacker coach for them and then defensive coordinator. Gregg Williams' defenses were known for punishing quarterbacks, knocking them flat on their back, and playing a very aggressive 4-3 style. And there's no doubt about it, this carried into the Super Bowl. Gregg Williams' powerful Titans would go on to the Super Bowl to take on the Rams, coming up short 23-16. Gregg Williams' career only would continue from that point forward. He would join the Redskins, he would go on to join the Bills, and eventually he would join the New Orleans Saints. Sean Payton actually took a pay cut to have Gregg Williams join his team. The amount of respect that he had for him then was tremendous. But then, of course, a very infamous scandal came along during his time with New Orleans. The NFL had found that he was paying players to intentionally hurt opposing players in games. He would go on to be fired from the Saints. He would miss a year. He would take a year away from the game. He would come back, and he would serve under Jeff Fisher and the Rams. He would then move on to join the Buffalo Bills again. He also spent some time 1 year with the Jacksonville Jaguars, serving on after Mike Smith left, eventually going back to Buffalo, then to Cleveland, and now to the New York Jets. So now with the Jets, Gregg Williams will be bringing a lot of energy to the Jet defense, something that I think the Jets have been missing since Rex Ryan. And there's no doubt in my mind, a guy that was a product of Buddy Ryan, Rex's father, will bring that same style Rex brought to the Jets. I think Gregg Williams will bring the same thing in 2019 to this Jet team. And boy, do they need it. The Jets, for the last 3 years under Todd Bowles, were playing a 3-4 defense. 3-4. Now, what does that mean? A 3-4 defense is when you have 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers behind. So that means you have 3 defensive linemen at the line of scrimmage and 4 behind for the linebackers, basically to block in the secondary to an extent. Okay, here's where that failed. By having 3 defensive linemen in the front, you're not able to rush the quarterback fast enough. You're just asking the opposing team's offensive line to just block all 3 of you off and never going to get the time to get to the quarterback and knock him flat down. By doing a 4-3 defense, that's a whole different story. 4 defensive linemen on the front to 3 linebackers behind. That will not only allow the Jets to get that extra man to rush the defense, to rush the offensive line, to rattle the quarterback, to get him out of the pocket, to get him uncomfortable, to make him scramble. That's what the Jets need to be doing. They need to force the quarterback's hand and make him get rid of that ball quick. Not every quarterback is going to be able to, will probably be able to figure that out. Of course, Tom Brady, is he going to be able to decipher that? Of course he will. But if you're able to frustrate a quarterback, if you're able to get him uncomfortable, you will get him to make a mistake. And that's what the Jet defense needs to start doing. Forcing turnovers, forcing a fumble, forcing teams to commit to them, not them to commit to the offense. And that's something Gregg Williams, I think, will bring to this Jet team. What is he going to bring that's different? Something like what Rex brought that was different. He gave the Jets an identity. An identity where when they're on the field and you're an offense staring them down, that defense will stare you down, instilling fear. The last 3 years, the Jet defense was nothing to fear. Teams ran them over. Teams threw the ball deep on them. I feel with Gregg Williams, that is all going to change. Now, my curious question is, who will the Jets surround on defense to benefit Gregg Williams' 4-3? They only have a couple players that can fit a 4-3. The rest of them played in a 3-4 for so long. So the Jets might have to do spend some money, which they have the money to do this year, and if they have to get a players that can fit a 4-3 defense, go get them. The Jets have a lot of things now that really are in the gearworks that could be going for them now. Now you have Adam Gase, he can run the offense. You now have Gregg Williams, he can run the defense. And now if you're the Jets here, you have Sam Darnold, you have the quarterback you've been looking for years. Now you've got to surround him with the talent that he needs to get the ball to. And if you're the Jets now, you have to get the players on defense that can rush the quarterback, that can make opposing offensive lines feel uncomfortable, and basically you can control the pace of the game. That's what the Jets, I think, are going to have with Gregg, but now they need the players to make it work. Will they do it? That's a very good question, and I'm hoping they find the pieces to do it, because we're almost toward the end of the playoff season here. The Super Bowl is 2 weeks away. The offseason then begins. So if you're Mike Maccagnan, if you are Adam Gase, if you are Gregg Williams, start getting this thing running now. Because every minute that's wasted not making these moves could be another missed opportunity the Jets could have at maybe being anything but a threat in the NFL anymore. I want to see the Jet defense play the way the Jet defense used to play. From the days of Rex. From the days of the New York Sack Exchange in the 1980s. From the days of Marty Lyons, Mark Gastineau, Abdul Salam, and Joe Klecko. From the days of Sean Ellis. From the days of David Harris. Even from the days of the Jets Super Bowl III team. I want to see a Jet defense that's not afraid to punish a quarterback. That's not afraid to, pun intended, hurt the quarterback. Instill fear, which is something the Jets haven't had in years, really since Rex Ryan. Why do you think the Jets haven't been to a playoff game since 2010? That needs to change in 2019. And with Gregg Williams, I feel it could change. He will finally give that Jet defense a swagger, an identity, a purpose, a goal, an aspiration, and an appreciation. Something this Jet team didn't have since Rex Ryan. The Jets have all the inner makings of a team that could make this work. Now they've got to go out, get the players, draft the players, surround their talent with other talent to make them better. Let's see where the Jets go by the fall of 2019.